Hello there. Hi, this is H. Victoria Hargro Atkerson. I'm an author and a writer, and I am discussing with you today the discipline of writing. Now, as we mentioned before, you think about time, space, material, and your mind, and how to use those elements to create a wonderful book. So today we're going to talk a bit more about time and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. When is the best time for anyone to write? When is the best time? The answer to that question is any time that's good for you. Anytime you feel that you can sit down and write, it's a good time. The thing is, you need to sit down and establish a regular time when you can get the job done. Because if you don't plan out that time, it's not going to happen, or you'll be years and years accomplishing a goal that you could probably do in a couple of months. Sometimes it takes people longer to do their first draft of their book or whatever they're writing. Sometimes it takes them longer. I've done it in a month, I've done it in a week, and there was one occasion I did a first draft in a couple of days. So it depends on how motivated you are, how into your storyline you are, how committed you are to your characters and the purpose of this book that you're writing. So time is an important part of this process. It's the one thing that kind of dominates whether this project materializes or not. So the first thing you want to do to look at your whole day, evaluate how you are presently using your time, evaluate and study how you move within your day, because that will determine or help you determine when is the best time for you to work. When are you exposed to most people who live with you? Do you live alone? Or are you living with several different people, a husband, sisters, brothers, children? Think about their schedules and your schedule, and how can you carve out time for you to sit down and do the work you must do. One thing I found to be very, very invaluable was to sit down with my family and discuss what I was doing. Tell them about the projects I was working on and how I do that, what it takes for me to accomplish a printed page, and to explain to them how important it was to me. Once I did that, it set the stage for that writing process to begin. Because once I defined, like, this is the best time for me to write, I was able to go to that space during that particular time that I carved out and announced to my family members that I am writing. And there are times when I claim other parts of my day that I don't normally use, because it is imperative that I get the work done. And in order to do that, normally I would start writing at 11 o'clock at night and write until 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. But if I'm into writing, or into that process, and the words are coming, the characters are being developed, the plot is flowing so fluidly, I have to do more hours. And I may change my hours, but I let people know that I'll be writing, which means no phone calls, no drop-ins, no interruptions. If you have company in the house, I can close my door and say, I'm not to be disturbed. And most of my family will respond positively to that. Or if they interrupt me, they'll come in quietly and, courteously excuse themselves and ask me a question or whatever the interruption is for, and there are many. But even if you're interrupted, it should not stop the writing process. I have written books while, children laid across my lap. Like I said, I've written in hospitals and in every circumstance you can imagine. And I think I related this story a while ago. one of the stories that I will be releasing very soon is called Writing Through My Life. That plot came to me as I was driving to work. And this was several years ago, right? And I pulled the car over and sat in the parking lot of a dollar store, and I wrote the whole outline of the book. It came to me so quickly and so readily. I had to stop the car, go to the side of the road, sat in the parking lot of the dollar store, and I wrote that outline in no time flat. Then when I arrived at work, I started working on it. And I think I wrote like a summary of the story. The summary, which is about 30 pages. I wrote that out all during the time I was working. Amazing. Love the book. It's one of my favorites right now. And we're getting that done. We're getting that done. Very, very vivid pictures came to me when I was able to claim that time, even on the way to work. I wasn't late, by the way. But I claimed that time as mine, and I pulled that car over, sat in the parking lot, pulled out my pad and pencil, and wrote away. That's what you call inspiration, stimulation, whatever. The characters were so vivid to me, I had to get them down. And sometimes you may have that experience when you first wake up in the morning. It's a good idea to keep that pen by the bed. I tell everybody, keep your pen and pencil by the bed, or pen and paper by the bed, so that you can write down those ideas that flood your brain. One of the most creative times in my life as a writer is just before I wake up in the morning. If I can think about a character before I open my eyes, I get a flood of information coming to me. Just before I fall asleep, sometimes it'll come to me, and I'll even shake myself awake. Oh, I gotta write this. I gotta write this down. But your subconscious is always working. So you want to take advantage of that. Use that sleep time to help you develop and work through a plot. I think it's a golden opportunity that not many of us tune into. But those first few minutes before you really know you're awake, but your eyes remain closed, that's a good time to focus in on your characters, and it gives you a lot of wonderful, wonderful moments that you can put on paper, and they're like golden moments. You can never, ever, ever go wrong when you do that, when you use your subconscious to help to guide you, because you tune into so much energy. I mean, this creative energy is everywhere. So take advantage of that. So once you carve out your time, I'm telling you, during your day in your house, wherever you choose to write, whether it's sitting at your kitchen table or sitting in a comfortable chair in the den, these are moments. Sit down, write. Whether you use your paper, pen, or your computer, sit down and do that, and claim it. It's important that you claim the time. Now, once you explain to your family that you are going to be busy writing at a certain part of the day, and that this time is what you have carved out for your creative process, the next thing to do is to make sure you stay on that schedule. Not only does it reinforce their belief in your ability to do the work, it would also reinforce everything you need to get the project done, which is time. If you use that time appropriately, you will be successful in completing your writing project. It's as simple as that. It's a really cool thing. This whole thing is really exciting. I like to select a schedule of time in any given week when I can sit down and write. Sometimes it's right after breakfast. I'll keep a pad close by. I keep pads all over the house, in fact, writing materials everywhere. So if I'm like having coffee in the morning, I'll jot down a few phrases, or an inspiration comes to me. A lot of times this happens in the middle of the night. I always take a break around 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm writing at night, and I may bake some bread, because something about that kneading process when you're getting the bed ready to go into the pan so that it can rise for that final time. It's something about that process that really stirs your imagination and bring back or bring to the forefront something that's really essential for your stories. I think work is a good process when you're thinking out your plot. So use whatever it is you're passionate about. Me, I love to cook and I love to knit. Those are two things I can do kind of subconsciously as I go through my materials that I need for writing. And I try to use that time as wisely as I can and as often as I can. Every opportunity is a time to write. When is a good time to write? Anytime, anytime. But if you want to get a project done, select a time, stick to it, and get the work done. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. There's a red button at the bottom of this page. I would like you to push that button and subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think. If there are any questions you have about writing or the writing process, please write them down. I'll answer you, or go to my website, which is www.hvictoriahargroatkerson.com. Leave your comments. I'll be sure to answer all your questions, okay? You take care. Stay safe during this COVID-19 epidemic. Love to you and your family, and enjoy the process, okay? God bless. And you take care. I love you.